Hey guys, Raz here. Today we'll be looking at the trig graphs. Yeah, I'm calling this periodicity. So, first let's look at the sine curve and explore a few things with it. So, if um, if we put into the curve um, sine of a, if we were told sine theta equals a half, and we had to solve between the range of minus 360 to 360 or 0 to 360, this is what we need to be understanding. So if I pull up the calculator, this is maths error on it, and do sine inverse of 0.5, hopefully you realize we're going to get 30 degrees. So we get 30 degrees. Now what it's saying is there are more than one solution. So because I know this already, we know sine 30 equals a half, but I know sine 150 also equal a half. And I know that sine minus 210 will also equal a half, and sine of minus 330 will also equal a half. So that's what it's asking for when it asks us for multiple solutions. And I'll show you how I was able to do that in my head. I was able to do that in my head because I imagined the sine curve, yeah? And we can see that that point is 180 degrees. So if this is 30 degrees, that gap there is also 30 degrees. So we know that we have a second solution anywhere along that line. Yeah? So our first solution, what we'll call the primitive solution, is 30. The next one must be at 180 minus 30. And that gave us the 150. So if I look on the negative side of the graph, we can see this gap here must also be 30. So that is minus 210. And this must have been 30 degrees to the right of minus 360, which was minus 330. So therefore, the solutions to sine theta equals a half in the range of theta is between 360 to 360 is 30, 150 minus 210 and minus 330. Yeah? So it's very important to draw those lines in, and then we could just interpret, well, that must be theta, that must be theta, that must be theta, that must be theta. Yeah, it's really easy if you know the graph. So learn the actual graph would be my tip. Especially if you're watching this video as an A-level student. If you're watching this GCSE as a video as a GCSE student, a little bit different, but as an A-level student, just learn the graphs. So let's try and get this graph here, yeah, these four solutions. So I've put, you can see that lines up with minus half. So if we do sine inverse of minus a half, we get minus 30. So if we were asked to solve sine theta equals minus a half in the range of 360 to minus 360, we're now looking at this point, which is a little bit different, yeah? But still, I'm going to put those vertical lines in. It's all about knowing your graphs. So if you know your graphs, you know, say our first solution is 30, that one must be 30 to the right of minus 180, which is minus 150. Let me just get this written down. So now this one, if we put the vertical line in, is 30 degrees to the right of 180. So it's plus 210. vertical line in at 360. That is 30 to the left of 360, which will be 330. So we can see what different solutions to when it was a positive one. So you can see, especially for the sine graph, if you learn the graph, it will make your life a lot easier. Now let's look at the cos graph. Why is this easier than the sine one? Exactly. It's symmetrical through the y-axis. So once we've done these values, we just stick a negative in front for the negative values. So when does cos repeat? Exactly, every 360 minus theta degrees. If that's theta, that must be 360 minus theta. So if we had cos theta equals a half, if we type that into the calculator, we would get 60 degrees. So what that means is, if this is 60, this must be 300 degrees. Yeah, because that corresponds to 360 minus 60. And then the negative values would be minus 60 and minus 300. So the solutions to this question here would be 60, 300, minus 60, minus 300. And that is why cos is the easiest of the trig functions when we're dealing with solutions in a range. Yeah? Now, if we look at the periodicity of tan, i.e. when I say periodicity, when it repeats, really easy. Yeah? How do we get from 0 to 180? Exactly, we add 180. How do we go to the next point, equivalent point? We add 180. How would we be travel back on the graph? Exactly, we would minus 180. So tan is also a very easy graph to interpret. Really hard to draw. Well, I find it really hard to draw, but really easy to get the next solution. So essentially, say for example, this was 21 degrees. We would just have to add 180 to it to get our new solution. So if that were 21, this would be 201. To get to here, we would add another 180, which would be 381. If we wanted to go back in time, we would minus 180, and we would get minus 159. Yeah? So let's sum that up. Sine repeats every 180 minus theta degrees. Cos repeats every 360 minus theta degrees. Tan repeats every 180 degrees. Yeah, but if you want to really know your graphs inside out, we'll be able to get all the questions, always get all the marks in these questions, then learn the graphs, yeah? Especially useful for sine, and then you can just interpret the graphs that you know, yeah? So I hope you enjoyed that video. See you again soon.